I'm Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina with another Sunday night live stream show. That's right, it's Sunday night, y'all, and it is time for that live stream show. That's
We
right.
do this every Sunday night,
y'all, and at 8:30 p.m. every Sunday night we have this live stream show. We're going to talk all about nearshore and offshore fishing tips, tricks, and more. We're going to give away free fishing trips, and we are going to share some photos of what we've been catching, tell you what's coming up, and fill you in on all the dirty details that's going on here at Hubbard's Marina and with our fishery locally. So hopefully you're ready for a great show tonight. I know I'm excited for another great show, and I appreciate everybody tuning in and hanging out with us tonight on this beautiful Sunday night. Well, it's not so beautiful here. It's kind of storming a little bit, but hey, at least we're inside and not out on the boat in this storm. Looking forward to another great show. Remember, comment where you're watching from. Don't forget to tell your friends about the show. Get them on here. We want to give away lots of free stuff tonight. Remember, if we've got 400 live viewers, someone's going to win a free 39-hour trip. If we have less than 400 live viewers, then someone's going to win a half-price 39-hour trip. And don't forget as well, we always give away a 5-hour half-day for 2 guests and a 10-hour all-day for 2 guests as well. So great show lined up for you tonight, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. Don't forget to comment where you're watching from. Don't forget to share this video on your timeline. And then also, guys, don't forget to like our page. If you're watching on Facebook, don't forget to like our page. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe. Gotta subscribe to our channel for us. We'd appreciate it. We are going to get started here very shortly. Just a few minutes away from that live stream show. Hopefully you have your drink ready. Hopefully you've liked us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We are getting ready to start shortly. Don't forget to tell your friends to tune in. We've got a great show lined up for you tonight, and looking forward to hanging out with you guys and sharing some fishing tips, tricks, and more. Don't forget that if you have a question, you can text that question in to the phone number in the upper right hand corner of the video. That's how you get your questions answered live during the show. If you ask your question in the comments, won't always get to see it, so make sure you go ahead and text us your questions to that phone number in the upper right hand corner. That is how you get your questions answered during the video. Gonna get started here very shortly. Just trying to get the dang URLs to line up here, and then we will be ready to rock and roll. And just like that, it all comes together. So hopefully you got some good questions lined up tonight. Amberjack season is open. We caught some monster amberjacks on our latest 39-hour trip, and we've got some super light 39-hour trips coming up this week. Looking forward to great opportunities to catch plenty of jacks on the 39 hours this week. We've got a 39-hour trip on Tuesday, and we've got a 39-hour trip on Friday, both with super light loads, even stern spots left open if you want an opportunity to catch some amberjack. This week is definitely the week to do it on those 39-hour trips. The Tuesday 39-hour has a couple stern spots open. The Friday 39-hour still has quite a few spots open as well on the stern, and of course both sides of the boat wide open as well. All right, I think we are just about ready to rock and roll here. Remember, if you're watching live, bear with us. That video is going to start shortly. If you're not watching live, you can skip forward to where you see the video start. And again, don't forget to comment where you're watching from. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. If you're watching on Facebook, don't forget to give the video a like. Severely helps us spread the word, guys. Help us out, show your support, give the video a like on Facebook, give the video a thumbs up on YouTube. Don't forget to like the page on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. We are pretty much ready to rock and roll at this point. So let's get the show on the road. Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina. Thanks for tuning in tonight for our live stream show. Again, this is every Sunday night around 8:30 p.m. We do this live stream show where we talk all about nearshore and offshore fishing tips, tricks, and more. And we're going to give away some free fishing trips. And we're going to talk about fishing and answer your questions live. Just text that phone number in the upper right hand corner. Don't forget to text that phone number, and that's where we will get your questions and get them answered throughout the show. And then in order to be eligible to win a free fishing trip, you have to comment one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook video. So you have to go to facebook.com, go to the Hubbard's Marina page, find that live video, comment one time, and then you can watch on YouTube. You can watch on one of our other Facebook pages that we're streaming to, but you have to go to the Hubbard's Marina Facebook page and comment one time in order to be eligible to win. That is how the show works. And with that, we're going to dive on in here. So we always like to start with what we're catching now and talk about what's biting well now. Right now, inshore, we're seeing a great action inshore, especially on those snook. The snook are crazy thick right now around the pass, but there's some other species biting well too, so we'll get right into inshore and then we'll work our way offshore and near shore. So let's get it rolling here with what's biting well inshore. If we can get the photos to load, that's always helpful. Let's see, second try is always a charm. Hopefully it won't be a third try. There we go. And we got it to load. And that is a problem that we can fix quickly. Bam. Look at that. I'm getting better with this live show stuff. Instead of panicking, I know the buttons. All right, so here is a flounder. The flounder bite has actually been pretty good lately. Thank you, Christine Schrock, for sending some stars. I saw you sent some stars already, so appreciate you sending them a second time again on Facebook, showing your support. This is a nice flounder caught on one of those soft plastic paddle tails. The soft plastics work really well for the flounder. The flounder are hanging out on those sandy bottom areas adjacent to the structures like grass flats or dock areas. This was caught on a set of docks by our Salt Strong friends, and they were working that dock line at one of those full moon low tides, and that kind of congregated the fish towards the deeper areas of the docks, and it made it really easy for them to target a bunch of fish. And they actually caught everything from snook to trout to little baby grouper to flounder and more. So the soft plastic paddle tails around the deeper areas of the dock at low tide is working well. But these flounder are around bridges, they're around grass flats, they're around dock lines. Basically any structure that's going to hold bait, these flounder will be hanging out on the sandy bottom adjacent to that structure, waiting to ambush bait. And then of course we've got our mangrove snapper. The mangrove snapper bite is awesome inshore right now. We're seeing a ton of mangrove snapper around our local piers, docks, bridges, rock piles, any structure holding bait similar to those flounder. These mangroves are just clouded up. The mangrove fishing's definitely almost shooting fish in a barrel right now. The water's warm and the mangrove snapper are thick. Some light chumming and a small piece of bait and some light tackle works wonders to get the mangrove snapper chewing well. Thanks, Richard, for sending some stars on Facebook. I appreciate it, buddy. Redfish have been biting well around our dock lines in the outer bay areas and the upper bays, mangrove shorelines, grass flats working well for those redfish. But lately around John's Pass, we've been seeing them off our main dock, off the dock at Don's Dock, across the pass around Gators, seeing those redfish on the bottom, eating that cut bait or live shrimp on the bottom or the slow moving soft plastics. Here's one of those redfish from our dock. Definitely been biting well. A nice little snook. Good fish there from our friend Zach. And ironically, that's Zach's snook, and this is Zach's mom showing off the redfish. So even Zach's mom gets down on the fishing and catches some nice fish with her son. Pretty cool to see those two catching fish together. Then we got our buddy John Sasser tearing up the snook right now using live pinfish, soft plastics, the plastic swim baits, all working well. Our buddy Brian sent us this one. He's been tearing up some big snook. This is our friend Lucas, who is buddies with Zach, and he and Zach fish the dock around Hubbard's Marina. This is from the beach behind our office, pitching baits up underneath the dock, catching plenty of them. This is our friend Joe from Salt Strong, working those dock lines, catching plenty of trout. His brother Luke from Salt Strong, another big old trout from the dock lines, working those soft plastics. And that is about it. Inshore right now. So inshore fishing's been good. Mostly snook at night, and a lot of those mangrove snapper at night and during the day. Pretty much anytime mangrove snapper are chewing well. Lighter tackle and small pieces of bait work really well. So slower moving tides helps you to target in those mangrove snappers. So the start or beginning or end of a incoming or outgoing tide, you can put some chum into the water around a bridge, dock, pier, jetty, and get those mangrove snapper feeding well. And then drop that free lined small piece of shrimp or small piece of white bait, and you'll get those mangrove snapper chewing well. And they're good eating fish. They just don't get super big inshore like we catch them offshore. Bill Corley, appreciate the stars. Sean Porchkey, appreciate the venting tool funds. And Gabe, as always, with the big stars. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. All right. So we talked about inshore. Let's work our way offshore. Patrick Hone, appreciate the stars as well. Let's go offshore and see what we've been catching offshore. Some big amberjack on this last 39-hour trip. I can't emphasize this enough. The amberjack fishing was a little tough on that first trip, that first 39-hour trip. This weekend, Captain Garrett and the boys, they found some huge amberjack. I think the biggest one weighed in just shy of 90 pounds. It was like 89.9 pounds. So that's a big amberjack. And they caught quite a few of them on this recent 39-hour trip with only 23 people. This Tuesday, we just got just over a dozen people going out. Super light 39-hour trip Tuesday, and plenty of room if you want to come out and do some flatlining for the pelagics we're seeing, if you want to do some vertical jigging for the jacks, if you want to go bottom fishing and get a chance for tons of room and lots of one-on-one time with the crew. This is the trip to do it. This coming Tuesday on the 39-hour, even this coming Friday on the 39-hour, super light loads. So great opportunity to go fishing. Chris Fink sent 1,500 stars. Wow, I really appreciate that, buddy. Thank you very much. Let's get into these offshore photos. So this is one of those big amberjack we were talking about, massive fish. And Chris here in the photo was strapped up with a GoPro, and he filmed a bunch of his amberjack wrestling. So Bob Harbison has all that footage now. We had a ton of footage from this recent weekend 39-hour trip. from Will, from Jason, from this gentleman, Chris, and our other customer on the boat named Chris. We had 2 Chris's with GoPros on the 39 hour, and they took a ton of videos. So we're real excited to see Bob's video coming soon to a YouTube channel near you. Another big Amberjack from this recent 39 hour. Nice big mangrove from John. Nice scamp grouper. Some big scamp have been coming up. Nice red grouper. Big vermilion snapper. Another amberjack. Hogfish. That's a near shore photo. Snuck in there with the offshore pics. Nice little red grouper from the 10 hour. Big old red grouper from an 8 hour private charter on the hub. Nice Amberjack. Sean Porchke is showing off his skills. Mike Murray and a nice tuna. Got Tim Harris and a nice tuna. These boys caught this tuna on a 12-aught reel. He had that lure way out behind the boat. Hooked this tuna. He was actually up in the front of the boat taking a nap, and it took him a while to get it in. He had to work for it, but he caught a nice tuna. Our buddy Chris showing off a nice tuna from him and his family's Flying Hub 2 private charter. Chris is a great fisherman. Caught himself a lot of grouper and nice tuna on that trip. Tim with another big gag. Here is our friend Mr. Love showing off big gag grouper. Scott Love is this gentleman's name. He has a tire repair shop, and he also does custom work to vehicles out of Tampa. Love's Tire Service Center. That's actually who lifted my truck, so I love this guy. He is the artist behind the Hubbard's Marina F250 that I drive around. So really like Scott Love. Love his work to my truck, that's for sure. Randy Kessel, really appreciate you sending 1,100 stars. Thank you very much, buddy. Jacob Spink, appreciate you and your stars as well. There's Sean Porchke with a nice big gag. This is Baby Chris showing off his big red grouper with Captain Garrett. Nice scamp grouper from the 39 hour. Our friend Mike Murray and his big old wahoo from that 39 hour fishing trip. The 39 hour has been seeing a lot of pelagics recently. So not only do these super light loads on the 39 hour this coming week give you an opportunity for plenty of room, but it also gives you a great opportunity to troll and flatline. We've been seeing wahoo, we've been seeing tuna, we've been seeing mahi and big kingfish as well. So great opportunity to go out there on one of these super light load 39 hour trips this week. Again, Tuesday, just a few people. Friday has got a little bit more than Tuesday, but still super light loads. Less than 20 people on both. Tons of room around the boat. Still stern spots available. Big amberjack and plenty of other species, as you've seen in these photos. The porgies have been thick. We've been seeing a lot of these good eating porgies. Red grouper, scamp grouper, and this is my cousin. This is my little cousin Reese. This is Garrett, Captain Garrett Hubbard's son, Reese, and he loves fishing with his dad, boy. And he is a fishing machine. This is one of the amberjacks he helped reel up on that 39 hour trip he took with his dad, and he was so proud of that fish. I believe there's going to be video of that in Bob's upcoming YouTube video, so that's pretty cool. Nice big gag grouper from that 39 hour adventure, and beautiful photo to end our journey down memory lane from this recent 39 hour trip. Crystal Wood and Haley Lynn, appreciate you sending stars. Thank you so much, guys. And with that, we are through with our photos. So we've shown you what we've been catching. Now it's time to start getting into your questions. So make sure if you have a question you want answered, if you want to talk about something, if you have a topic you want me to cover, if you just want to say hello, shoot us a text to that phone number in the upper right hand corner, 727 393-1947. Don't forget to text us at that number if you have a question you want answered. And then don't forget to comment on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream in order to be eligible to win one of these free trips. And if you want to send some stars, you can send some stars. Thanks, John Anderson, for sending over 400 stars. You're the man. All right, let's get into these questions, but before we get into the questions, it is time to give away our first trip of the night. We're going to give away a 5-hour half day for 2 guests. 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Remember, in order to be eligible to win, you got to comment on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook video 1 time. Then you can watch from YouTube or any other Facebook video you want. And then if you are picked as the lucky winner, you have to then text that phone number in the upper right-hand corner, your home address, within about 5 minutes to prove you are watching live. Because the whole point of us giving away free trips is to reward those people who are hanging out with us and watching the show live. So you have to watch the whole show live, and then if you're picked as the lucky winner, you got to text that phone number in the upper right hand corner, your home address, to claim that free trip. So with that, let's see who won a 5-hour half day for 2 guests. That is $130 value, $130 value, absolutely free. Let's see who the lucky winner is. It's a local, David Munoz from Lakeland, Florida. Appreciate you watching, David. Make sure you, again, in order to claim that free trip, you got to text us your home address to that phone number in the upper right-hand corner. Thanks for watching, and keep in mind, guys, we still got a 10-hour all day for 2 guests to give away later in the show, and we still got that 39-hour fishing trip for, I believe we are already over 400 live viewers. Let me double check. 81 on YouTube, 340 on Facebook, 340-ish on Facebook. So we are over 400, so we're going to give away a 10-hour all day for 2 and a free 39-hour trip for 1 guest. And Randy Kessel, I see you sending another 1,000 stars. Really appreciate it, buddy. Big star donator of the night tonight for sure. Thanks, man. All right. Now, let's get into these questions. First question is, if we're going on the 10-hour trip Tuesday, what would be your game plan? So the 10-hour trip Tuesday, Captain Frank's back in town. He was out of town for a week in Georgia, hiding out in the mountains and resting and recuperating from a long, hot, and busy red snapper season. So Frank is back in town from vacation, so I would assume he's gonna hit the ground running and probably want to go right back after those red grouper and other species that we were catching really well on the 10-hour trip. We're catching a good amount of red grouper. We're seeing a few mangroves, a lot of lanes, some good vermilions, and a few hogfish here and there. So I would suggest on a 10-hour all-day trip, bringing a 4/0 higher speed conventional reel with around 40 to 60 pound main line, about a 40 to 60 pound leader, and about a 4 to 6/0 hook. And then maybe a spinning rod as well with some lighter tackle on it, maybe 30 pound fluorocarbon top shot, and a 4/0 hook and a lighter, like 1 ounce lead egg sinker, rigged up knocker rig with a couple red beads in between your egg sinker and hook. And between your spinning rod and reel and your conventional rod and reel, you're going to have the tools and capability to target anything from that hogfish all the way up to that red grouper or mangrove snapper. And I would start the trip fishing with around 40 pound leader and a double snelled 4/0 hook combo and one of those thread fins. I'd cut the head, cut the tail, trim the belly, and I'd thread that onto my double snell rig, and I would fish that on the bottom, presenting that bait naturally, making sure my leader's nice and stretched out, making sure I'm holding bottom, moving my rod tip actively with the boat so my lead is on the bottom, restful and still and not being disturbed. And that line is tight enough to feel the lead, but not tight enough to move the lead on the bottom. So you have to dance with the boat, constantly moving that rod tip to make sure that that lead is not being disturbed by the up and down motion of the boat, and making sure you're keeping that line tight enough to feel any bite at all. And then as soon as you feel that bite, put the hammer down, start cranking like a madman, and hook that snapper. And hopefully it'll result in some nice mangrove snapper, maybe even a nice red grouper, and plenty of lanes and other species too. And then if the bite's a little slower, switch to the spinning rod and reel, use a smaller piece of thread fin chunk, or perhaps even a live shrimp to give you a chance at some of those snapper species if they're being a little bit more finicky. 30-pound fluorocarbon and a lighter spinning rod setup makes you a little bit more stealthy, and can sometimes entice them to bite. You never know. Thank you, James Day and Jason Cruz and Justin Bendis for sending those stars. Really appreciate it, guys. For those of you watching, the stars thing is only on Facebook. It's something Facebook came out, and it's basically a way to show support for your live videos that you like on Facebook, and it's basically a way for us to collect a little bit of support and revenue through our Facebook page, and that will go straight to our live show fuel fund, and helps us fuel these live shows. So I appreciate you guys sending those stars. All right, so next question. I have a 39-hour trip with you next weekend. How many dozen pinfish would be a good number per person for a 39-hour trip? It kind of depends on what you want to do on the 39-hour trip, how many you want to use, etc. So it depends on you and your fishing setup and what you're targeting during the trip. But when I go out on a 39-hour trip this time of year with gag grouper and amberjack open, probably 3 dozen pinfish is a good number. 4 dozen is a lot. 2 dozen might be too few. But if you're going to use pinfish a lot, 4 dozen might be a good idea. So it really depends on you and the way you fish. I like fishing more dead bait, and I like fishing some vertical jigs for those amberjacks sometimes. So I don't use a ton of those pinfish. Those pinfish mostly are for the grouper and for the bigger snapper. Those amberjack like those bigger baits that we catch offshore. So you got to think about what you want to do, but I would say probably 3 dozen pinfish is a good number per person on a 39-hour trip. Is there any certain code to list my birthday trip on Labor Day? So when you have a birthday trip and you're trying to claim that free birthday trip, you have to do that on the phone. So any discounted trip, we don't allow discounted trips like that to be worked or booked online, because just anybody could book a free trip if we had that birthday code out there. So we do that over the phone for you and let you know you have to bring in your ID, and you have to have someone going with you that's paying full rate or normal price, and then you get that free birthday trip. And that is a great segue to show you guys this awesome new website. So our website has been totally revamped, and son of a sailor, I gotta change this to, let's see, transform screen. There we go. Now you can see the full effect of our new homepage. Really like the new design of our new website. On desktop, you get this cool video that kind of plays while you're on the homepage. If you go to our new website via mobile, it is not a cool video like this because we want it to load fast, but it still is pretty cool on mobile too. But if you want to see the cool video, gotta visit it on your desktop computer. But we also redid the pages, so check this out. I'm going to show you that 5-hour half-day page. Remember, I had all that information, all those words, and all that cool stuff. So I was told that kind of makes it harder for people to find just quick information and book quickly. So they talked me into doing these quick details, kind of a bullet bullet point segue, and then it's got a calendar and a book now button. I'm going to turn off the video so you can see it. So it basically is a little bit more user friendly to be able to get on there, get the information you need, get it quickly, and then book quickly right on the right hand side of the screen. We've got our videos, but if you want to see all that cool information that I spent so much time making, you can hit the learn more, and then all that great wording that I used to have up at the top of the page is now kind of hidden down here. I don't know. People say it's better, makes it easier for guests to navigate the website. I don't know. You guys check it out. Check out the new website. Let me know if you find any mistakes, or if you have any suggestions, or if you have any feedback, if you totally hate it, if you totally love it. We've redone a lot of the fishing trip pages. We've done the 5-hour half day, the 10-hour all day, all our cruises, the sunset cruise, the dolphin watch. We've redone all those pages. But the reason I came on the website is to show you this, the birthday trip. So under the info tab, you can scroll down to where you see the free birthday trip. And our birthday trip page has also been redone, make it a little bit more understandable for people and easier to comprehend, and easier for everybody. Less questions and less confusion. That's what we're all about, making it easy. So the birthday trip is real. You can get a free 5-hour half day, 10-hour all day dolphin tour. There's a lot of trips that you can get absolutely free on your birthday. If you want to do one of those longer range trips, you can still get those at a severe discount, but it's not absolutely free. So you can't get a free 39-hour trip on your birthday, but you can get $190 or $109 off a 39-hour trip on your birthday. And I saw in the comments, I happened to catch it, the man, the myth, the legend, Mike Mahoney popped in here a minute ago. Thanks for watching, Mike. For those of you who don't know Mike Mahoney, he is one of the characters on the Real Animals Fishing Show that I call into every Sunday morning. He is a cool dude, and he owns T.A. Mahoney's over in Tampa, and they are bringing in those Nomad design lures, those Nomads that everybody's catching those tuna, mahi, kingfish, wahoo on. T.A. Mahoney's over in Tampa. It's right off the interstate, so when you're coming to Hubbard's Marina for your 39 or 44-hour trip, you can stop by and see Mike Mahoney. He is a character for sure. He'll make you laugh a ton and show you what lures work really well, because he is a wahoo fisherman for sure. He catches a bunch of fish on the troll, and he can get you set up with those new Nomad lures. So I'll be going over there myself to get some of those lures. So thanks for tuning in tonight, Mike. I appreciate you gracing us with your presence on the show. All right, so let's get into the next question here. What is the high end of average depth that you see on the 39-hour and 12-hour extreme trips? So those 39 hours and 12-hour extremes, we fish the same general area. So anywhere from 120 to about 250 foot is average for those 39 hours and 12-hour extreme trips. So 250 foot would be real deep for a 39-hour or 12-hour extreme, but it would definitely be the upper end of the average. So let's see. So next question. I purchased a fishing trip and booked a spot on a 39-hour trip, but I don't have a fishing spot on the stern of the boat, but I want to troll. I'm wondering how that works. So if you want to troll on a 39-hour or 44-hour trip, you can troll even if you don't have a stern spot. Now, on this week's 39-hour trips, the super light load on Tuesday, there is still stern spots open. Friday also has a super light load, a little bit more people than Tuesday, but there's still a light load. Both of those trips have stern spots, so it's a great opportunity to grab a stern spot and go trolling and learn more about offshore fishing, because you'll have more one-on-one time with the crew since it's a super, super light load trip. Now, if you are on a busier trip, trolling is a extra option. It's not part of the trip. So these 39-hour and 44-hour trips are bottom fishing trips. We're out there to go catch bottom fish. But you can troll if you have the appropriate tackle. So a 50 wide 2-speed or a big 80 wide 2-speed is really what you want in order to be eligible to troll. And it really takes the proper tackle, because we're not going to slow the boat down for you to retrieve a smaller mackerel or bonita. Even if you get a decent sized kingfish or tuna, we're not really going to slow the boat down unless your reel's dumping drag and you got a big wahoo screaming or a big billfish tail walk, and we'll slow the boat down for that. But it's a bottom fishing trip. Everybody on the boat is there to go bottom fishing. Only a handful of people troll. So you need to have big tackle to retrieve those fish while the boat continues moving and heading out to that bottom fishing spot. But you don't have to have a stern spot to troll. Now, the spots you book on a trip are bottom fishing spots. So those are your spots when you start bottom fishing. However, if you want to troll, the people with stern spots do have first right refusal, because that is their fishing spot. So they do have an option to troll. But if we get out of the bridge and no one's trolling in an open, you see an open spot in the stern to troll, just be polite, go back there, chat the guys up, and most likely you can slide right in there and troll. You just got to be out of the way when we start bottom fishing. So you don't need a stern spot to troll. Yes, the stern guys and gals do have first right refusal to troll, but it's very rare that everybody across the stern wants to troll. Most of the time there's an open spot for someone on the side to slide back there and troll. What is the best knot to tie to trolling lures, and can you catch amberjack while trolling? Yes, amberjack is open. They're open August, September, and October. And yes, we do catch amberjack trolling. We caught a big amberjack trolling on this recent 39-hour trip. We catch them trolling on those Nomad lures, on the Rapala X-Rap lures. We've caught them trolling on some of those deep diving plugs. Definitely amberjack do bite trolling tackle occasionally. It's not something that we target them with, but it does happen from time to time. And Sherry Griffiths, appreciate the stars. Gabe, appreciate you sending more stars. David Pruitt sending 500 stars. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you. I still see them. We're trying to get through the questions, but I'm still keeping my eye out. And Gabe sent 2,500 stars after his initial 1,000. So I think that's 3,500 for Gabe tonight. He is not going to be outdone. Randy Kessel tried, but Gabe is not being dethroned. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. Let's see here. What is the best knot to tie for trolling lures? So the best knot, if it has a split ring, I just like doing my normal nail knot. That's my favorite knot to all terminal tackle. Nail knot is the best one, and my favorite one at least. And it is right on our website under fishing trips. If you scroll down to the fishing tips and tricks page, there's a video right on our fishing tips and trick page down towards the bottom on how to tie a nail knot. It's a really, really cool knot. It works really well for tying on single hook rigs, your swivels, your fishing lures if they've got a split ring to them. The nail knot is an awesome knot for sure. Can you address the question about fishing etiquette when the current is moving the line? Not quite sure what this question means, but basically fishing etiquette would dictate, holy moly, it's a stars contest. Chris Fink sent 3,000 stars after his initial 1,500, so that's 4,500 for Chris Fink tonight. Dang, appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much. Gabe just got dethroned. All right, so fishing etiquette, basically what that means is you want to make sure that you're being kind to those around you. So party boat fishing to me is so much fun because you get to meet other people, you get to have a great time, and you get to learn from the people around you who might do something a little different from you, but it might work. And now you've got more more options and a bigger repertoire of techniques. So I really enjoy boat fishing for that reason. You meet new people, you learn new tactics, and you all work together to catch a lot of fish. But that's the key. You got to work together. You're only as strong as your weakest link. If you've got one guy who is getting in the way or using a lead that's too light or doesn't have a top shot, it creates a lot of tangles and it creates a lot of issues for everybody on the boat. So you all have to work together. So if you're not sitting straight up and down, your line's getting all cockeyed to the side, you want to increase your lead or decrease your line weight, so that way you can stay more straight up and down and not let your line drift into your neighbor. Basically, you want to keep your rod almost straight out, and you want to keep that line directly in front of you and stay in your lane, if you will. Now, if the current's running really bad, everybody's lines are going to go a certain way, and you got to work with your neighbors to make sure you're dropping leads up current so your line ends down current and you fall in line with everybody else. Again, staying in your lane. It might not be directly in front of you. If the current's really bad, your lane might be kind of off to the side. But it's all about working together and getting along. And if you're having a problem getting along with the person around you, then talk to the crew off to the side quietly. And most of the time, especially on super light loads like we have this Tuesday and this coming Friday, you can just move because there's tons of room. This coming Tuesday trip, there is one person on the entire port side of the boat. That is how light the load is this coming Tuesday on the 39-hour trip. So fishing etiquette is really important during red snapper season when everybody thinks that's the only time to go fishing. In this time of year when the boats are almost empty, fishing etiquette becomes less important because you got all the room in the world. So definitely pretty cool this time of year for that reason. And Gabe would not go easily. He would not take his loss laying down Chris Fink. He just upped it by 2,000 stars. So it's 4,500 for Gabe and 3,500, I think. No, wait, it's 4,500 for you both. Man, you guys are going at it. I think Gabe is back in the lead. He's up on Chris by 1,000 stars. Throwing them out there tonight. Really appreciate you guys. We're going to reach our goal of buying a case of Jameson. I love it. I love it. This is a good night. So let's see here. What is the next question? This one just says, get your Jameson ready. See you tonight. I like that comment. I had my Jameson ready. Would you recommend the 10 or 12-hour trip for grouper, and how many fishermen do each normally have? I understand you get at least 7 hours on the 12-hour. How many on the 10-hour? So the 10-hour all day, you can't really compare to our 12-hour extreme trip. Our 12-hour trips and longer are specialty trips. So specialty trips go out further. They're geared for advanced anglers, and we do more serious fishing. So a 10-hour trip is a lot like our half-day trip, but we go out twice as far for twice as long. So on a half-day trip, you're only about 30 to 50 foot of water. On a 10-hour all day, you're about 60 to 100 foot of water. So you're still not technically offshore. Offshore is anywhere from 100 foot deeper or beyond 20 miles. Near shore is from the beach out to about 100 foot of water, or from the beach out to about, my computer's trying to do updates and restart. Not right now. All right, so what I was saying is the 10-hour all day is still kind of a near shore trip. It's kind of for intermediate anglers. Not really a beginner's trip, but not really meant for advanced anglers. Now, advanced anglers go out on the 10-hour trip and have a great time catching hogfish, mangrove snapper, maybe some red grouper. But if you want an advanced angler's trip, you want to catch some big grouper, a 12-hour extreme trip or 39-hour trip is really where it's at. A 12-hour extreme trip is essentially like a split private charter. It's on our smaller, faster boat, the Flying Hub 2. We only allow 16 people, and you have a captain and crew kind of waiting on you more closely because there's only 16 interesting people, like this coming Tuesday's 39-hour trip with a super light load. You get more one-on-one time with the captain and crew, more personalized service, and because it's a smaller, faster boat, you get out there real quick and you get a lot of fishing time. So the 12-hour Extreme is a awesome trip for sure. Leslie, I appreciate the stars. Thank you very much. So if you were asking me to recommend you a trip between the 10-hour and 12-hour, my next question would be, how often do you fish offshore? Have you done a bunch of trips before? If you fish offshore a lot, the 12-hour Extreme's hands down the way you want to go. If you've only done 1 or 2 offshore fishing trips before, the 10-hour trip might be more your speed. Try a couple 10-hour trips and then you'll be ready for that 12-hour Extreme. My name is Graham, and I was wondering, on your half-day or full-day trips, can you use any kind of bait that you want to bring? Yeah, you can use anything. You can bring anything you want on the boat and use anything for bait that you want on the boat. You just can't have any guns, drugs, glass, alcohol, no smartphones or electronic devices with GPS, and then no bananas. As long as you don't have any of that stuff, you're good to go on a 5 or 10-hour trip. And then as far as your bait goes, you're welcome to use whatever you want for bait. You just got to stay legal. So you can't bring out mangrove snapper or grouper to use as bait. But if it's a ladyfish, mullet, Boston mackerel, bonita, octopus, squid, something that's legal to be used for bait, we're good with it. Bring whatever you want to use for bait. Probably a dumb question, but I'm new to Tampa and saltwater, so I'm going to stop right there. There's no such thing as a dumb question. There's only dumb answers. So please, if you have a question and you feel that it's a dumb question, don't be embarrassed. You can text me at that number. It's private. No one else is going to see it except for our staff, and I'll be more than happy to answer it. And if it's kind of something that might embarrass someone, I'm not going to read it out loud on the show, but I'll wait till after the show and I'll answer it regardless. So there's no dumb questions. I can only give dumb answers, and sometimes I do. You never know. Depends on what you ask me. All right, let's see here. My parents bought me a Penn 8500 for my birthday, and this thing is a monster. Is there any reason to use a reel this big in the bay, or do I need to make friends with boaters somewhere to use it? In my opinion, a Penn 8500, which is a huge spinning reel, an 8000 series spinning reel, in my opinion, the only place to use that is in the bay. Because offshore, I would never ever fish bottom fish with a spinning reel. It's in my opinion, it's not what you want to do. The only time you drop a spinning reel to the bottom is if you've got light tackle and you're trying to knock a rig, or if you're trying to target those fish that are being a little finicky and you want to use lighter tackle, or if you want to flat line or have a pitch rod. So really the biggest reel I would take offshore is like 5,000-6,000. Really, I like more like a 4,000 or 5,000 reel, spinning reel offshore. And I'm going to use conventional reels when bottom fishing. So an 8500, what those are really designed to be used for is around the bay. I would use, that's a great tarpon reel or big snook reel around the bridges, loaded up with 50-pound, 80-pound braided line, and use that around the bridges with big 10, 12, 14-inch ladyfish for those huge snook that we see around the bridges right now. And that's a big enough reel to give you the power to horse that fish out away from the bridge pilings. Or during May, June, July, and even into August, we have those tarpon around, and you can use those for tarpon as well. Sharks, a lot of people target sharks in the bay with those bigger spinning reels. So that's what I would use it mostly for, in my opinion. So not a dumb question at all. Very valid. Thanks, Jim Evans, for sending some stars on Facebook. We've got our friend Brian sent us some photos of fish. Can't really show them easily on the show without showing everybody's name and phone numbers, unfortunately, but I'll save them and I'll share them next week. Brian, thanks for submitting your photos. Let's see. So someone asked, does texting the number in the upper right hand corner give me a chance to win those free fishing trips? Unfortunately not. The only way to do this random name generator that we use, again, it's completely random. It's a website. It uses an API and it pulls everybody's name out of Facebook and automatically deletes any duplicates and then randomly chooses a name. So that's the only way to make this work, because we have, at this point, we have, let's see here, we have over 470 people watching live, almost 500 people watching live, and a lot of comments. So the only way to give away free stuff and give away over $700 in free fishing trips is by using something that's automatic. YouTube, unfortunately, doesn't have an API that allows us to use these random name generators with live streams, unfortunately. And with text messages in our text message line, someone would be having to manually enter each phone number, and we'd have to generate it that way. And it doesn't work because of the volume of questions and texts we get during the show, which I'm not complaining. I appreciate it, but it has to be automatic and it has to be random to keep it as fair as possible. So the only way to get entered to win a free trip is by commenting on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. That's the only way to do it. And speaking of that, it's time to give away a free 10-hour all day for 2 guests. 10-hour all day for 2 guests. And while we're on the subject, I wanted to mention as well, we've had some issues with some random people getting on here and spamming the show and putting random comments in. So next week you will not be able to comment unless you are following the Hubbard's Marina page. So in order to comment on the show, you'll actually have to like the Hubbard's Marina page starting next week. Holy moly, Chris Fink just sent 3,000 stars. That makes like 7,500 for him tonight. So I think he wins, Gabe. I think it's over for you, Gabe. Thank you so much, Chris. I'm going to have to buy you a bottle of Jameson if you keep this up. All right, let's see who won a 10-hour all-day trip for 2 guests. 10-hour all-day trip for 2 guests. And the lucky winner, remember, you got to go ahead and text us in that phone number in the upper right-hand corner. That lucky winner is Dylan Harris. Dylan, you misspelled Dylan, but you did win a free 10-hour all-day trip for 2 guests. Correct way of spelling your first name is Dylan, but I'll give it to you, Dylan. Thanks for watching, man, from Gainesville, Florida. Another Florida person won tonight. The last couple shows, we've been having a lot of out-of-state people win, and that's cool with me too, but a lot of people definitely were talking smack, and all of a sudden we're getting a lot of randomly generated Florida people, so that's pretty cool. All right, let's see who is next. What questions? When it comes to swivels, does size matter or only the strength rating? That's a good question. So I see it all the time, people using these huge oversized swivels. Oh, shoot. That almost made me spit out my Jameson. Gabe sent 5,000 stars. I think definitely just dethroned you again, Chris. This is crazy. 5,000 stars. I don't even think you can send that many at once. I didn't know that was possible. When it comes to swivels, does size matter? And no, size does not matter. You want to pay attention to that rating, that strength rating. So if your swivel is rated towards 120 pounds of test, you don't need a bigger swivel if you're only fishing 80-pound tests. So me personally, I only fish around 150-pound, maybe 180-pound swivels. There's absolutely no reason to fish a bigger rated swivel or bigger size swivel than around 150 to 180 pound test, unless I'm bringing my 14-aught pen with big old steel case and a 150, 200-pound leader. Then I'd use a bigger swivel. But 9 out of 10 times, those small Spro swivels, that's what I really like, those new Spro swivels. They're super small, and you can get them, I think, like the 150 pound rated swivel is like micro size. It's super small, and it works well with your fluorocarbon to give you a really, really natural presentation for those finicky snappers. So I definitely like it. Jim Evans, appreciate the stars, buddy. All right. Next question. Booked a trip in September, the 12-hour night trip. What will be biting well in September? Gabe just sent 4,500 stars. He's burying you, Chris. You're losing. I think you're about 88,500 behind now. So I think Gabe is cementing his solid lead. Oh man, Gabe, you kill me. I appreciate it, man. So in September on a 12-hour night trip, we catch about the same fish on those 12-hour night trips almost year round. We target those mangrove snapper, and we catch some of those other species like almaco jacks, porgies, vermilions, maybe a red grouper or two, but it's mostly just targeted after those mangrove snapper, and a lot of vermilions, lanes, almacos, and other heads and tails will get in the mix as well, porgies. So that's what we see a lot of most of the time on those 12-hour night trips. And the 12-hour night trips only run around March through early October, around that mangrove snapper kind of peak time. That's when we schedule those trips around certain moon phases. So it doesn't matter what time of year you do a 12-hour night trip. You have the same chances for pretty much the same types of fish. Next question is, can beginners join your fishing trips? And of course, our 5-hour half day is pretty much 100% geared towards beginners. That's what we're all about, teaching people how to fish, getting hooked on fishing. So a 5-hour half day is great fun for any age fisherman, any experience level fisherman. Really anybody can do a 5-hour half day. You go out there, you try it, you like it, maybe do one or two more. If you like it, maybe do a 10-hour, do a couple of those, maybe try a 12-hour night, do a one or two of those. If you like those, 12-hour extreme, you're ready for a 39-hour trip, and you can slowly work your way up, and then you won't be a beginner anymore. I've seen so many people start with a 5-hour half day, really enjoy it, try a 10-hour or two, really enjoy that, try a 12-hour, then try a 39-hour, and then all of a sudden they're fishing every couple months to go out and get out on the water and catch more fish. So definitely evolving as a fisherman is what we're all about. We're happy to help. That's why we do these shows. Love sharing the passion for offshore fishing and nearshore fishing, and we love helping people learn more about it. So if you're a beginning angler, don't get intimidated. Watch some more shows. Check out our website. There's tons of videos under our fishing trips. You can go to the fishing tips and tricks page for a bunch of videos on knot tying. We have the Bass Pro Shops page under fishing trips, where all our Bass Pro Shops seminars have been filmed and uploaded. So lots of ways to learn more about fishing on our website. And get from a beginner to an advanced angler quickly. Chris Fink sent 3,000 stars. He's coming back after you, Gabe. This is this is awesome watching you guys fight back and forth. Appreciate it. How are your full moon trips? I never have any luck on full moons. Fishing in the Keys. Well, fishing in the Keys, a little lighter out on the reefs. Those full moons probably get a little too much light, and the sharks probably shut you down, because those sharks feed more actively at night around the full moon. And in that shallow, clear, beautiful water of the Key West and around the Keys, if I was a snapper, I would not be caught dead out and about on the reef on a full moon. The sharks would eat me quickly. So that's probably why you don't do so hot on a full moon. We do really well around the full moons for sure, especially a day or two leading up to the full moon. A couple days after the full moon, great opportunities to catch plenty of snapper for sure. What is the best leader line to be used with braided lines so you don't lose your fish? So most of the time with braided line in your reel, you want to use a monofilament top shot, and your top shot wants to match or a little bit below your braided line. So if you got a 60-pound braided line in your reel, probably a 60-pound or 50 or 60-pound top shot is where you want to be with around a matching leader. So 60-pound braided line, 50 to 60-pound top shot, and about a 40, 50, or 60-pound leader. You don't want to go on a super heavy leader, or you're going to break above your lead. You're going to lose your lead, swivel, and leader every time. You don't want to go on a super heavy top shot and a weaker main line, or you're going to break above your top shot all the time and be tying new top shots on all the time. So you want the main line to be the strongest, your top shot to be about equal or a little less, and then you want your leader to typically be maybe a little bit heavier. Sometimes you can go a little heavier, but you really want your leader to be almost equal or maybe a little above or well below. So that way you're always breaking. Your weakest point is on your leader. That way you're not losing a bunch of tackle and retying top shots all the time offshore on the boat, because that's no fun. Had a cobia by my boat in 80 foot of water today out of John's Pass. Couldn't get him to eat anything. What's the trick? The trick would be on those cobia, a little tail hooked pinfish, 50-pound fluorocarbon, a little 3 to 5/0 circle hook, tail hook that pinfish, cast them out there. If they don't want that, sometimes they'll take a little dead sardine or dead threadfin, just cast it out there in front of them. Sometimes they're a little lazy. They don't want to chase that live bait. One of my favorite things for cobia is one of those bucktail jigs and one of those green bass worms, one of those Senko worms, 8-9 inch worm, dark green with a little white paddle or little white bucktail jig, like a ½ ounce, 3/4 ounce, maybe even 1 ounce white bucktail jig, and you thread that dark green plastic bass worm behind it. That really gets those cobia excited. The bucktail gives it the weight to cast, and the little white gets their attention, and then that green plastic eel mimics an eel, which is their favorite bait. A live eel would be cobia candy, but don't really find those in bait shops too much. And that's about it. What jigs seem to be the most effective for grouper, amberjacks, etc.? So me, I'm not a huge jig fisherman. I prefer using dead bait or live bait majority of the time, but if I'm gonna drop down a jig, most of the time it's one of those hammer diamond jigs. And we had the jigging expert on this show a few weeks ago, and his favorite lure, if you were only going to fish one lure, he said the hammer diamond jig was his favorite or go-to option. So definitely the hammer diamond jig is a good all-around lure, and I would use it most frequently when I'm targeting amberjack. If I'm targeting amberjack, I definitely jig fish more often. A big hammer diamond jig or a really big butterfly jig is a great option for those amberjack. When are you going to have Benny Ortiz back? Speaking of the jig master, Benny Ortiz. If he can make it, maybe you can reach out to Ryan Hanks. He is also a local slow pitch jig expert. Ryan Hanks is a cool dude as well. I know him. I met him at one of the Tampa Bay Fishing Club's events. So I think he's pretty good friends with Benny Ortiz. But I've met Ryan. He's a cool dude as well. I'd love to have Benny Ortiz back on the show too. I just haven't reached out to him, to be honest. Just been a little busy lately, so these live shows kind of sneak up on me, and I need to plan that out a little better and get some more guests on the show. So I apologize. I'll get on the guest thing. Let's see here. My son and I did a 39-hour trip 2 weeks ago, had a blast and caught a pile of fish. The wife wants to go out. Should she try the 12-hour extreme first? Is there room for 3 this week on a 39-hour trip? There is tons of room for people on the 39-hour trip. I would suggest, under normal circumstances, maybe have her try a 12-hour extreme, maybe a 10-hour first. But this week, with the crazy light loads on 39-hour trips, I would book Tuesday's 39-hour trip. There's literally just a handful of people on the trip, tons of room for you guys to spread out, and a lot of one-on-one time with the crew. We could definitely get her up to speed quickly, and I guarantee you guys would have a blast. Basically, the whole port side of the boat's open, so you guys could pick a spot where you got plenty of room around you, plenty of space for you to spread out, and plenty of one-on-one help with the crew to get her up to speed quickly. So this Tuesday's 39-hour trip is what I would recommend as far as you and your son and your wife going out fishing. And if you can talk your wife into going out fishing on a 39-hour trip, more power to you. I've got my wife on a 12-hour extreme. I don't think I would ever have the luck of getting her on the 39-hour trip. Maybe one day. Maybe when our son gets a little older. But that would be cool. And this week, Tuesday, is a great opportunity to take your wife out there because the weather is also absolutely flat calm. So flat calm, good fishing, super light loads. Tuesday's 39-hour trip is the way to go. And our friends from Bass Pro are going to be there. We've got all the good people going out fishing. It's going to be a great crowd for sure. Let's see here. Did you say the only way to get picked for one of those free trips is to comment on YouTube? No, the only way to get picked is by commenting on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. YouTube, you're welcome to comment and hang out and join us, but unfortunately, it doesn't enter you to win. Let's see here. On the 39-hour trips, do you have to use circle hooks for snapper? So the rule is when you're offshore fishing with natural bait for bottom reef species in federal waters, you have to use circle hooks. That is the rule. They're non-offset, non-stainless circle hooks too. That is the rule. So that is the rules. That's what we got to tell you. Next question is, how is the new store doing? The new store is doing really, really well. It is bad to the bone. If you haven't visited John's Pass lately, I just won the incredible battle with the city. I was able to buy the store, or rent the store out, win the store. We had a little bit of a bidding war, but I won the store back June 17th. We moved in and had it open and operating by June 21st. The build out took 5 days. Stripped it bare, rebuilt it from the ground up thanks to Store Development LLC. Some great guys came in there and just gutted the place and made it gorgeous. In less than 6 days, they had it open, moving, ready to rock and roll. Then we filled the store up. We hung some signage on the windows and on the doors. And I wanted to replace this 6-foot tall, 12-foot long sign it had above the doors, and it literally just got done. I filed to hang the sign, to reface the sign, so nothing new, not going extravagant, just replacing what's up there. I filed that permit June 17th. We hung the sign on August 3rd. That is how long the city took to approve me hanging a frickin' sign above the roof. I couldn't believe it. It was the biggest. I can't even comment on the. I'm speechless. It took that long to hang a sign, and it was all just red tape. City covering their butts. Oh man, it had to withstand a 150-mile-an-hour wind load. We had to hire a professional architect and a professional engineer to draw plans for the sign that we had already built, already paid for, already had backing. We had it all done in like a week, and literally sat there for 2 months until we had the red tape cut through to hang the damn sign. But besides the sign drama, the new store is awesome. It's doing really well, selling a lot of t-shirts and hats and souvenirs and booking a lot of trips out of there. So definitely helps us having a place on the main drag. Man, the sign drum, I'm so glad that's over. Literally just got the stamp of approval on our final inspection. So now I can talk smack about how ridiculous it is and the bureaucracy that surrounds hanging a sign. Hanging a sign. It's crazy. Anthony Barnes, James Day, thanks for the stars. Thanks for bringing up the sign drama. Where do you begin just learning fishing? Good question. So I would recommend, if you're a beginner starting out, definitely start with our website. Go to hubbardsmarina.com, click the Fish and Trips tab, watch that fishing tips and tricks page, watch some of those videos, hop on that Bass Pro Shops page, watch some of our seminars at Bass Pro, watch some past live stream shows, watch some videos on our YouTube channel. Go out and find other YouTube channels. There's a bunch of people who do how-to videos on YouTube and on the internet. Great place, great resource to learn more. And then come out and do some trips. Do a 5-hour half day. If you really want to learn, maybe think about doing a private fishing charter. You could always do a 5-hour private fishing charter with us on the hub, and definitely a great way to get one-on-one help and one-on-one coaching, and very quickly go from not knowing much or not knowing anything to learning a lot very quickly. Private charters are definitely a great way for more one-on-one help. Or this coming Tuesday's 39-hour fishing trip, super light load. Will help you out. He'll be your one-on-one coach. All right. Next question. Got any babysitters? That's our next venture, is kids daycare service while you go out fishing. That would be a good idea. Unfortunately, a lot of liability watching kids. We'll put Smokey in charge of it. Smokey will be the daycare leader. I put wire leader on all my jigs. Is that a good idea? I personally don't like wire leader, especially when the water's clearer. I don't like wire leader on jigs. Whether I'm trolling, especially don't do that if you're vertical jigging them. For trolling, you can get away with wire leader if the water's a little dirtier, but you really don't need it most of the time if you're using a bigger lure. I live in Citrus County, and I have seen a truck with your logo on it several times. Any plans for fishing charters in Citrus County? That is my dad's truck. So my dad has a piece of property up in Floral City. And it was an old retired orange grove, and he's kind of bringing the farming back and doing some airboat stuff, and he's got a bunch of like chickens and goats and cows, and my favorite part is there's a shooting range, so that's pretty bad to the bone, like going up there for that. But yeah, that's where you see the truck, is my dad's place in Floral City. He lives there almost full time now, so you see the truck driving around everywhere because he's constantly going to get something for the farm. He stays busy. Kept him slowly going out of Hubbard's Marina. He's not so involved in operations or much here at Hubbard's Marina or at Sea Adventure, which is our pleasure cruise operation, or Tampa Bay Ferry, which is our ferry boat operation. Pretty much taken the reins over. So what did he do? He went up to Floral City and bought a farm to keep himself busy. So now he does that, and he started a boat building company, and takes something off his plate, and he just goes and gets a new plate to fill up. So that's where you see my dad's truck in Citrus County. So no plans for fishing charters, but you can have a wedding at our Floral City Grove coming soon. And my little sister does yoga retreats up there. My dad will take you on an airboat ride you won't ever forget. It's pretty fun up there. Real quick, what do you use and how do you fish for Amberjack? Great question to end the show on. So Amberjack fishing is open. It's right now, Amberjack are open August, September, and October. You guys saw earlier in the show, we're catching some big Amberjack. Big tackle, big bait, big patience, and big strength. All equal great ways to catch a lot of those big amberjack. So a 9/0 reel, a big 80 wide 2-speed, great way to target the amberjack as far as your reel. You want a big, heavy, solid glass blank, 120 pound main line, 100-pound leader, 120, 125, 150-pound leader, a big 10, 12, 14-aught hook, and a big 10, 12-ounce lead, and a longer 6 to 8 foot leader, and a huge live bait. Biggest live bait you can find, whether it's a whole mullet, a bigger ladyfish, the biggest pinfish you can find. Some of the big baits that we catch out there, like some of those porgies, work really, really well for amberjack. And that's the trick, dropping one of those down on a big wreck, a big ledge, a big peak, and those amberjack will smash that live bait. Also, some vertical jigs like we talked about before, 10, 12, 16-ounce vertical jigs, great ways to target those amberjack too. But that's a whole lot like work. But when you get smashed on a vertical jig by a big amberjack, it's a lot of fun for sure. Thanks, Anthony Barnes, for sending some stars, and appreciate everybody hanging out with me tonight and joining us for this live stream show. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the show, and hopefully everybody got some cool information or learned a little something about nearshore offshore fishing, or maybe just had a good time watching the show. I know I always have a great time hanging out with you guys, even though some of you guys talk smack a little bit during the show. I'll let that slide because I love you. So we talked about the super light loads we have on the 39-hour trip Tuesday and Friday. We talked about our new webcams. Don't forget to check out those new webcams. Really cool way to see those 39-hour trips offload. And make sure you subscribe on YouTube if you haven't subscribed already. Something like 70% of the people who watch our YouTube videos are not subscribed. So make sure you subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Don't forget, next week you won't be able to comment on our Facebook video unless you like the Facebook page. So make sure you like us on Facebook as well, so you'll be able to comment next week. And I think that's all the announcements I had. I don't know if I mentioned it, but we have a super light load on the 39-hour trip Tuesday. All right, and with that, it is time to see who won the free 39-hour trip for one person, redeemable on the super light load Tuesday. I'm going to keep dropping that in there. Maybe by the end of the show, we'll get some people to take me up on that. Remember, you can book it online now. I know Greg Roberts and Jennifer Roberts, I know you guys are watching, and I know you guys are coming Tuesday for that super light 39-hour trip. All right, let's see here who won the free 39-hour trip for one person. Free 39-hour trip for one guest. Let's see who the lucky winner is. Bum, bum, bum. Joey Barlow had a great trip last Wednesday. He went out fishing last Wednesday for his birthday on the 5-hour half day, and he just won a free 39-hour trip. So happy belated birthday, Joey. Local guy, goes fishing for Sheep's Head all the time, so pretty cool. You got yourself a 39-hour trip. Remember, same time, same place, same bad channel, same terrible host next week, 8:30 p.m. every Sunday night. Don't forget to go to our events page. If you go to Hubbard's Marina on Facebook, click events. Please like the event. Click going for next week. Help us spread the word about our live stream show. We'll see you next Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. and every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. right here on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook and YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, like us on YouTube, check us out on Instagram, Snapchat. Don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. Thanks for hanging out tonight, guys. Have a great night and happy Sunday.